Hey everybody, Chris here. In this video, we're going to talk about Dogecoin being worth more than Coinbase and Robinhood. Also, what's the latest with Elon Musk? Is he stepping down as the head of Twitter or not? What that could mean to Dogecoin, as well as a number of other crypto news of what is going on. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit that little notification bell so you can be notified when my new videos come out, as well as when I do live streams. Had a good live stream last night, talked a lot about Elon and Twitter, a lot that's going on there, as well as branching out to all sorts of other crypto things, because we got to be aware of what else is going on in the crypto world, because it affects the prices of all cryptos, including Dogecoin. So want to stay up to date on those. And here we have a number of things that would be good for you to know. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. We're seeing a little bit of a rally today right now in the stock market as well as cryptos. Will that be able to withstand sort of the economic pressures that are still there? We will see how that goes. But right now, a little relief rally is nice. Is this a big Santa rally that people have been talking about? Big Christmas rally? I really don't see that happening so much. I just think there's too much negative economic news out there. But we'll see how that goes going forward. Let's right now get right into the news. I'll show you what I'm looking at. So we'll start here with this Bitcoinist article. Dogecoin smokes Coinbase by $2 billion in market cap. No longer a silly joke? Yes, Dogecoin right now with its price is worth more in market cap than Coinbase as well as Robinhood. How can that be? Well, that's just the way it works right now. Doge is the number 8 overall in ranking of the world's top cryptos, market cap around $10 billion. Coinbase Global has a market valuation of about $8 billion. So that's about a $2 billion difference between the Coinbase exchange and Doge. Robinhood is also worth about that same about $8 billion. So that's just how big Doge can be, and we know Doge has been higher before, and we think Dogecoin is going to be higher again. So just kind of an interesting little bit of news. Elon Musk says he'll restrict polls to Twitter Blue subscribers after the vote said he should step down as CEO. So I think this was kind of a little bit of the drop in Dogecoin's price yesterday. We talked about this on my live stream last night, that with the results of this poll, if Elon was going to step down as the head of Twitter, that could have a negative impact on Dogecoin. So Bitcoin dropped by about 2%, but Doge dropped by about 7%. So that additional 5%, we think, was all because of this poll result, which was negative for Doge. You saw some selling. You also saw some of the short positions opened up. We showed that on the stream last night as well. There were a lot more short positions being opened on Dogecoin. Right now, today, so far, the only thing Elon Musk has really responded to is this thing about votes of that are done on the Twitter platform about Twitter policy. Makes sense if those who have the blue check marks and subscribe are the ones that vote. If it affects Twitter policy, that makes sense. However, first, I think Twitter needs to make sure that everyone who wants a blue check mark gets one. So non-iOS devices and how they deal with people who want to change their profile picture or name, and there shouldn't be such a delay on getting your blue check mark back. So all of that, I think, really needs to be figured out and worked on. When is Elon going to get around to doing payments on the Twitter system, the Twitter platform? I think that's still going to take a little while to work out. So I don't think we're going to see anything on that anytime soon. The latest on Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX agreeing to be extradited to the United States. We're going to see another appearance of Sam in a Bahamian court later this week. I know BitBoy Crypto is down there trying to get headlines for himself, looking out for the people, all of that. But I don't know what good that does. But he is actually bringing some good things to light, I think, particularly about how much money was siphoned out of FTX to buy multi-million-dollar real estate in the Bahamas. And if all of those assets aren't on the bankruptcy filing, then those things could end up in the hands of the Bahamian government, and the people who've lost money on FTX aren't going to see any of that money. So that kind of makes sense to me that should be worked out. And so the longer Sam, I think, is in the Bahamas, the longer there is to kind of work out those things. Because as soon as Sam comes to the United States, the Bahamas government is free to do whatever they want with whatever's left. So we'll see how that all plays out. One thing that's interesting, though, is this thing about donations that have been made by Sam through FTX to these political parties that, well, there may not be a way for FTX to claw that money back. Now, a number of people who receive donations have reached out to FTX and want to return the money that was given to them because they don't want that FTX name on their books anywhere. So that makes sense. That's a good thing actually for politicians to do, is to find a way to give the money back. However, when it comes to like political action committees, maybe they're not able to refund the money back. There's got to be a way to make that work somehow, but the more money that gets back to FTX for the bankruptcy restructuring, the more money we could see possibly back in the hands of the investors that have lost so much on the platform. Speaking of about losing money, BlockFi. So BlockFi has filed a motion to allow the wallet users to withdraw crypto. So these are people who had money on the BlockFi platform but weren't invested in the interest program. That the bankruptcy proceedings seem to think that money was not at risk. That money was held on the platform. It wasn't being lent out to FTX or other Alameda or others, like what BlockFi was doing with money in their interest accounts. So those that had put money into these interest-bearing accounts, you're still at risk, and that could be upwards of 80 to 85% of all of the money on BlockFi was most likely in these interest accounts. So that is still a question on how all that gets worked out. But for the 15% plus or so that just had money on BlockFi but wasn't in those interest accounts, it looks like they're working on you being able to get your money back there. Interesting article about the Canadian Central Bank emphasizing the need for stablecoin regulation. Again, going after stablecoins, I think that's something the United States wants to do as well, on regulation of stables and making sure the reserves are there for one-to-one. I think that's sort of the first step in more overall crypto regulation, but interesting that Canada is looking at that as well. 3 reasons why BNB price risks another 30% decline by January. So there's 2 things about this that are of interest to me. One is all of the FUD against Binance. Part of that is the way CZ, as the CEO of Binance, kind of dealt with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, and many who believe it was really CZ and Binance who took down FTX. I think he was just looking out for his own platform. He had a lot of FTT on Binance, and so he wanted to get rid of that FTT because he saw it was being used as collateral by FTX for other things, and that there really wasn't anything behind it. And to lessen that risk on Binance, wanted to get rid of the FTT, made a statement about that, and that eventually started the wheel spinning, which led to the downfall of FTX. Was that just a smart business move, or was there something more sinister about that? I'll let others deal with that. But the other thing about BNB is
this is a token that is Binance's own token. What's the difference between BNB, owned by Binance, and FTT, owned by FTX? What's behind that price of BNB? We know a lot of people use BNB with the Binance Smart Chain and all those tokens on Smart Chain. You need the BNB in order to swap and all of that. So there's a real use case for BNB. However, it's all within the Binance ecosystem. And there's a lot of people who think BNB price could go back up to $500, $600, something like that. I think that was all the craziness of all those BSC tokens in the past year and a half or so. And I don't know if we're going to see that again, but here, this Cointelegraph article is pointing to this possible other risk because people aren't really looking so fondly on these exchange tokens right now. We saw Kronos drop for Crypto.com. We saw that the other month, a big drop in Crow. And we saw what happened with FTT. So BNB not being looked at in a good light right now. Another interesting little article by Bitcoinist, and this is Shiba Inu. The much anticipated countdown ends, but it's not Shibarium. So what was this? Well, they had this countdown on the Shiba Inu website that wasn't any explanation of what that was. There's been a lot of talk about Shibarium and this layer 2 blockchain solution for Shiba Inu. But in the end, what was the countdown? The countdown was just for an update to the website. It had nothing to do with Shibarium. Shibarium just seems to be this thing that was put out there by the Shib developers as a carrot for Shib owners to kind of hold on to for the future, but we don't know whether that's really going to ever happen or not, or how it's going to work, or I don't know. It just seems to be another one of these things about tokens that you get developers just throwing information out there, or lack of information, in this case with just this countdown, just to get people to hold and buy, because that's what it's all about with Shib. Pretty dumb to me that this was just a countdown that was put out there, kind of hinted at that it had to do with Shibarium, and then there's nothing going on with Shibarium still at all. It could be the so-called vaporware, what they used to talk about, computer programs, that there really isn't anything there. We'll see in the future for Shib, but I just thought that was kind of interesting. Last news item I want to cover here. South Korean tax officials have seized crypto from 5,741 people. These are people who aren't claiming crypto, and this is in Korea. The same thing could happen in the United States and other countries as well, where if you are not claiming your crypto properly, government can come and they can seize it and they can take it. In this case in Korea, they don't really have a capital gains kind of tax thing. They believe that there were people who were actually converting money to crypto or taking payments in crypto and then weren't claiming that. And so that's what these tax officials are going after, is that crypto, that people are trying to skirt around the system and hide money with crypto. But we could see in the United States that if you're not claiming your gains properly on crypto, the government's going to be looking at that more. We know in the United States, the IRS has hired a lot more agents who are probably going to be looking more at crypto claims. We're going to be talking more about taxes probably on Friday's live stream, and as well going into the new year. I think Friday we're going to talk about tax loss harvesting some more, about what you might want to do before the year end in order to make sure that you're making the moves you want to make tax-wise, legally, and then we'll talk more about taxes in the new year as well. But just thought that this was kind of an interesting point.
For cryptos trading forward, I think right now the approach that we've been talking about is dollar cost averaging. We don't know over the next month, 2 months, or going forward whether we're going to see further large dips in cryptos, including Doge. We can always see that. You never know with Elon Musk, though. Is he going to do a Twitter Spaces with the Dogecoin community? I think that would be huge for Doge if that happens. but we don't know whether he's actually going to do that or not. At any time, we could be hearing about Twitter payments and Dogecoin on the Twitter system integrated in. That's kind of what we're waiting for right now, and if that does happen, that would be huge for Doge as well. Overall, with cryptos though, right now, inflation, interest rates, still bad. Recessionary talks in the United States. A lot of us think we're already in a recession. That could be. Right now, the government is kind of fudging some numbers, I think, so we don't really have a true indication of actual recession. But we all feel it. Prices are high. Things are looking bad still. So let's get through together. Like I say, dollar cost average, just buy a little bit each week, each day, however you're doing it. This is the bear market. This is crypto winter. This is the accumulation time. You accumulate now, and then a year or two down the road, you look back and you'll say, that was a smart thing to do. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the crypto news of the day and Dogecoin. Give the video a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.